As noted by our 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush, America is the land of the second chance, and when the gates of the prison open, the path ahead should lead to a better life. The U.S. Probation and Pretrial Services Office for the District of Minnesota routinely receives individuals released from imprisonment regularly to begin their term of supervised release. In many instances, they are released with little family support, no employment, lack of stable housing, limited education, and of course, the stigma of now being a convicted felon. For many, the chances of success are distant, but not impossible. Here in the District of Minnesota, the U.S. Probation and Pretrial Services Office, on behalf of our court, recognizes our civic responsibility as public servants and agents of change to assist those in need who report to our office for community supervision. We have assembled an outstanding team of U.S. Probation and Pretrial Services officers, along with community intervention specialists, to identify programs and services which helps break down barriers, not just for the purpose of completing community supervision, but for lifelong gratification for oneself and that of their family. Our community intervention team are experts in identifying wraparound services to address a variety of needs which can yield favorable results concerning their reentry back into the community. We have an in-house workforce development center designed to host multiple in-person employment readiness programming, such as resume writing, interviewing, dress for success, and much more. Our U.S. Probation and Pretrial Services officers are trained in cognitive behavioral programming to aid others in their development of better decision-making. We have contracted vendors throughout our district to offer treatment services programming and a world-class reentry court program which brings forth stakeholders to the table with their needs in mind. In the District of Minnesota, our focus is on justice-involved individuals. Imprisonment alone is not the answer. Through our workforce development and reentry initiatives, the U.S. Probation and Pretrial Services Office for the District of Minnesota is committed to investing in others in their change efforts. Our goal is to disrupt the return to prison pipeline via revocations of community supervision. Through our workforce development and reentry initiatives, we have the propensity to make a positive impact on the lives of many, all in the name of public safety. So, when the gates of the prison open and justice-involved individuals report to the U.S. Probation and Pretrial Services Office for the District of Minnesota, please know it is our mission, it is our vision to help them see the possibilities and inspire change.
We're really looking at all areas in terms of employment. Sometimes people come out, education is something that they're interested in, and sometimes even having an evaluation that will help them to kind of figure those things out. What are their likes, what are their dislikes, and what might be areas that would be of interest to them that they can go into in regards to having an ongoing career.
First of all, they have an assessment. The officers conduct the PICRA. And based on how they score on the PICRA, it will decide whether they come to me as a secondary supportive services and I help with unemployment or housing, the health care, whatever the basic human needs are of someone after their incarceration. We want to have the most positive impact and a positive environment for them to come to create a resume in our workforce development room, in our community resource area. We really do want to connect to the resources. If we can't connect you to the resources, we can find somebody that can.
But a large percentage of clients who come through the system have a chemical health concern or mental health concern. Sometimes they coexist. And that could have been one of the factors that influenced their behavior or their involvement in criminal conduct. So our goal as officers is to support their transition back into the community and remove those obstacles. So we try to address those issues and any underlying conduct that could lead or to relapse. So we support sobriety and find the resources or refer to the program necessary so they can address the underlying causes. Every program is different and every client is in need of different services. So we do a case-by-case analysis of what those needs are. When we staff a case, we review any history of treatment, and based on that, identify specific needs and refer to a program that's best suited for them. If they don't have insurance, if we can't get insurance, then we refer to one of our providers. We have contract providers, and they complete assessments and follow up with that.
The objective is to help the individuals be successful on supervision, and there's a lot of support for everyone that's in the program. Well, we work with numerous individuals and vendors in the community and organizations for different areas of interest. It could be, like I said, the mentors who meet with them regularly. A lot of the mentors are very good at helping them find resources such as employment or other community events. We work with the Pro Bono Institute, which is free attorneys for civil needs such as child support, child custody, driver's license issues, really just help them navigate things in the real world that they haven't been used to navigating. And so whatever the need is identified, we try to put them in the right place to succeed.
Reentry is all about transitioning, and you're transitioning from a prior lifestyle involving crime and prison, which may be many years, and now you come out and you are required to be pro-social, work. You may have never had a job before, and you have to keep this long list of standard conditions in order to stay out and stay free. Montage Reentry Solutions partners with the District of Minnesota, the Reentry Court, and when they have a new participant come into court, I meet with them along with probation. We go over how the next 18 months are going to look. I spend some time with the participant to kind of assess who's going to mentor them, how I'm going to match them up with one of our 14 mentors in the community, and then I stay connected throughout their 12 to 18 months in the program. A guy coming out of prison is not going to open up to his PO. So bringing in this mentoring component to have people who've either been in prison and are now mentoring with us, or people from the community. I like to have business people who are pretty sharp, and they know how the legit world works, and this is how we sell it. You're required to adjust to the legit world. It is not required to adjust to you. And we're here to help you do that. We're here to help you learn how that works, and to give you as much advice and direction that you might need, and work between you and the system so that everybody is shooting for the same outcomes.
I'm part of a group that runs a project in Minnesota called the Minnesota Collaborative Justice Project, and it focuses on prisoner reentry. We have individuals who've designed a reentry planning course that is taught in prisons in this state. We have a policy and advocacy component that works on legislation and changes to rules and regulations that could benefit reentering folks. We have a working group that I chair. It's called Access to Services, and it's aimed at improving housing, healthcare, identification, civil legal services, transportation, employment, housing, all of the things that oftentimes become barriers to successful reentry. We have a subcommittee that's called the Civil Legal Needs Initiative, and that particular subcommittee works on finding volunteer lawyers to handle civil legal problems for reentering folks. Those civil legal problems can become huge barriers to successful reentry, whether it's old child support orders, whether it's trying to get a driver's license, whether it's getting an acceptable form of identification, whether it's dealing with debt, child custody, child support, child visitation, divorce, all of those kinds of things. We try to provide volunteer lawyers to deal with these kinds of problems.
Where the District of Minnesota comes into play again is we have Second Chance Act funds, a funding mechanism where we can help support if there's a gap in any type of funding, whether it be for books or any other resources that they may need to be successful in the program. So our goal is really for them to start their first semester with little to no out-of-pocket expenses. And really, when you talk about workforce development and why this is so important, what we do know is that people who are on supervision and who are employed are some of the least likely to reoffend. And that's important short term while they're on supervision, but really putting them in a position to have a lifelong career is really probably the most impactful thing that we can do for them to be successful long term.
We can find people jobs. I can get anybody a job. I don't care who you are, I can find you a job. The key isn't getting the job, the key is keeping the job. And so retention is our main focus when it comes to folks in reentry, is making sure that they've got the skills, the support, and the structure around them to be able to manage this new environment that they're in. There used to be a day when having a felony conviction on your record was an automatic disqualifier for most employment. But most importantly, because of labor shortages and the need to find people, companies that maybe have been a little leery about hiring people with a background and finding out that, wow, we're being just as successful hiring that population as we are anybody else. With roughly a third or better of our adult population having a criminal history, employers just simply can't be that discriminatory any longer. They can't exclude roughly a third of their eligible candidates simply because they're in such need of employees. And again, every time they hire, an employer hires somebody with a criminal history and, takes a chance, if you will, and that person's successful, it just knocks down even more barriers.
You have to build a level of trust with these folks because they look at you and they wonder, what's the hook? Why are you doing this? And the answer to that is really pretty simple. It's because we believe that society is so much better off if people who have served their time can re-enter society successfully. If families can be reunited, if people can have gainful employment, if they can have a purpose in life, and they don't have to revert to the old way of making money because it's dangerous, it puts people at risk, and it fractures society. So if we can get people's lives together and have them succeed and become productive members of society, that benefits everybody. That's why these issues, in my view, are not political in any way. This isn't a Republican issue, a Democrat issue, a whatever issue. This is for the benefit of everyone, those who are returning and those who live in the communities they are returning to.